Hello, tonight I'm here talking about this big flat thing behind me. I don't mean the water, I mean the thing above it. No, not the shoreline, the thing above that. Yes, the horizon. And how it can absolutely make or break your landscape photos. Horizons are difficult things to work with sometimes. They are, well, they segment your photo, don't they? It is said, at least, if you put the horizon bang in the centre, as this camera has done with this video, then you run the risk of having a photo of two halves on the top and the bottom. Yeah, kind of 50-50. And I'm not talking composition as such in terms of where you put the horizon in this video. I'm talking about how you treat the horizon and how you can take the eye off of it, and where you should place things in relation to the horizon so that you make the most of it. One way or another, I've made a mistake this evening. I mean, don't I always make a mistake? I've come to this place of completely flat horizon, well, near as damn it, at sunset, and hadn't taken into account the tide. Now, I do like the tide coming up. I like things floating. It gives me changing opportunities. But the tide here rises damn fast. Now, when I did the opening piece, I was somewhere over there on the foreshore, and the car park at the top there's got warnings on it saying, do not park here, it will flood on the next high tide. And I know it comes in very fast here, so I park somewhere else. But I'm just looking at the water coming in through the salt flats and such here, and God, it's got a rip on it. So where I'm stood at the minute may become underwater within 15 minutes now. So I came off the foreshore because I was worried about well, getting wet really, and not being able to necessarily get back. For this shot, I've got on graduated filter. I'm using the Polarizer primarily to just cut down the glare in the water that's here, because well, there's quite a lot of reflection in it. It's not doing a big job of reducing that reflection, but it's doing enough. So my point about the horizon, particularly when you've got a very flat one like we have here, is not so much, as I say, where you place it, but I've placed it really high in this shot. It's about how you treat it, because if it's just a completely flat horizon, it's going to get pretty dull, and yeah, you will intersect your photo almost regardless of what's kind of top and bottom. If you've got a great sky and you've got a great foreground and midground, yeah, it's still going to provide you with something that's just kind of top and bottom. Here we've got a very flat horizon, but with this boat breaking that horizon. And it's difficult to see quite here how much it's breaking the horizon, because I have a kind of false horizon on this this shot, because I've got the water as it's coming in there. It's definitely up and over that horizon and also the horizon above it. And that just joins the top and the bottom of the image together, just that little bit. I'd like to have more. I'd like to probably come down more and get that, but the problem with coming down more is I'm going to lose this little bit of water here. The problem with coming up more is I'm going to lose the intersection of the boat coming over that horizon. This shot's very much more about the foreground than it is about the horizon and the background. It's rather nice. I like the way in which the bits of foliage are just sticking out of the water. I'm going to take a couple of shots having rotated the Polarizer a little as well, because you can see here that doing so changes different parts of the image. If I can blend those later, I think I'll be better off. I think this might end up being a 16:9 crop. Not sure. Actually, it's quite a nice shot. Well, looks like it in the back of the camera. Let me know what you think of it. Well, I quite like this image. It's got a nice S-curve leading line through it. But just look at the way that boat stops at horizon being the split in this image. It joins the top and the bottom parts. Well, that water has come in very fast, and heck, yeah, getting wet. Another example of making sure that we break the boundaries. That's why I like to call it breaking the boundary being the horizon, and we break through it. It allows us to join the top and the bottom of the image. And this shot is really just about shadow and colour. You see how we've got a couple of kind of boundaries in this, and if we were to leave this fence down below the level of the boundary, then we would have to absolutely make sure it's well below that level, because otherwise it interferes with that line. So not only have you got the line intersecting the photo, but you have a vertical interfering with it as well, and it just jars the eye. You know, it just does not work. And this is the absolute cardinal sin. If you photograph something that with a flat landscape, and you've got something that you can pull up above the landscape, pull it up as much as you possibly can. There's always a trade-off, because if you're trying to get something higher, then you've got to get low to look through it. And if by getting low you destroy some of the foreground, then you've got to find a happy medium. So I used a long exposure of 1.6 seconds. Doesn't sound very long, does it? But it's enough to just smooth out that water flow a little bit and take the detail out of it, because if there was too much detail, your eye would be taken away from the main subject and the image would look very messy. If you're finding the video interesting, please click the like button. So here I'm doing something different. I'm keeping the boat completely away from the horizon, and that gives me separation. Of course, so much about photography and composition is about separation of things. Otherwise, if we're too close, they begin to look messy. You need some space between things, and I've got quite a lot of space here. So this was a long exposure by design. I've never got this boat here before. Well, I've never got a good shot of this boat before, because when the tide's out, everything around it's just so messy. It's very difficult to kind of distinguish anything. But when it's just surrounded by water, the isolation is wonderful, and I've accentuated that isolation by keeping my horizon kind of high and well above it, so there's a big lump of space between the back of the wreck and the horizon, and I think it works very well. Do let me know what you think of it. Well, I got a number of different compositions of this wreck. I thought, well, I might as well stand here, I'm already soaked. So I quite like this shot. The foreground leads nicely into the subject, but a bit of a gap on the right hand side there. I think there's better balance when it's in a portrait orientation, though I think the image gets better the more we isolate it. I'm not sure whether it works better as a cool image or a warm image. But throughout these compositions I've kept that horizon clear of any clutter, and it makes a heck of a difference. It's this whole idea of simplifying the image, and I don't think you can get a lot more simple than this one. I'm particularly pleased with some of the images from this shoot, and I'm offering them as limited edition prints. If you'd like one hanging on your wall, my contact details are in the description below. Any support for the channel really would be greatly appreciated. And on that note, I thank you for watching. Please click the like button, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff, and we'll see you next week.